A lot of the advice we've been given about dogs is comforting, but not entirely honest. We've been told they're endlessly forgiving, always resilient, and unaffected by the small things that shape our days. But dogs feel far more than those simple ideas ever suggest, and ignoring that can quietly hurt them. When we look closer, we start to see how easily good intentions can miss the mark. Stay with me, because what you'll learn today might shift how you care for your dog in the most meaningful way. And if you'd like to keep exploring these overlooked truths together, you're welcome to like the video and subscribe. Number 1. Leaving them alone for too many hours. Most people assume that as long as their dog has food, water, and a comfortable place to rest, they're fine throughout the day. But your dog lives in a world where your absence is more than quiet. It's a kind of emptiness they don't know how to explain. Hours can feel much longer to them, and the stillness of the house starts pressing in until it shapes their mood in ways you only notice later. You come home to chewed objects, or a dog that seems overly excited, but underneath that behavior is a kind of loneliness they never chose. And with each long day spent waiting, their emotional world shrinks just a little more, leaving them unsure of how to fill that silence without you. On its own, it feels like a small thing, but stacked over time, it becomes the rhythm of their life. Number 2. Ignoring them when you get home. And once you notice that pattern of waiting, you start to see another one the moment you walk through the door. It's easy to think your dog's excitement is just routine, something they'll get over while you settle in. But to them, it's the moment their whole day finally comes back to life. They've been listening for your footsteps, imagining the sound of the key turning, hoping that this time you'll look at them first. When you walk past without a glance, it lands in their chest in a way they don't know how to soften. A simple touch or a quiet hello can calm the storm of emotions they've been holding, not because they're needy, but because you're the center of their little universe. And the smallest acknowledgement becomes a lifeline that tells them they matter right here, right now. Number 3. Scolding without understanding the context. This keeps showing up in different forms, and it makes you wonder, what if the moments you think require discipline actually need understanding instead? Your dog isn't acting out to challenge you or test you, even if it feels that way in the moment. Most of the things they do, chewing, barking, having an accident, come from confusion, stress, or simply not knowing what you hoped for. When the response is anger or a raised voice, especially long after the moment has passed, they can't connect the dots the way we expect them to. All they feel is the weight of your frustration without understanding why it's there. And that disconnect quietly unsettles them. It lingers in their body language, in the way they lower their head or avoid your eyes, not because they feel guilty in the human sense, but because they sense a break in the bond they rely on. And once you see that, it becomes harder to pretend that scolding teaches the lesson you hoped it would. Number 4. Yelling when they bark. At first, it doesn't seem like much, just noise you want to stop. But barking is far more personal to your dog than most people realize. When they call out like that, they're trying to tell you something in the only language they have, and the world already feels confusing enough to them without your voice cutting sharply through it. Yelling doesn't quiet the fear or frustration behind their bark. It only adds another layer of tension they don't know how to untangle. They hear the tone before the words, and that tone tells them you're upset, even though they were trying to express something real. So instead of calming, they shrink a little inside, unsure whether the world outside is the threat or whether they've somehow become the problem. And once that pattern settles in, the barking doesn't stop. It just becomes a cycle of stress they're too devoted to escape on their own. Number 5. Not letting them sniff during walks. You see it happen all the time. A dog lowers its nose to the ground, ready to explore, and the leash tightens before they even get a chance to understand what they've found. To us, it looks like a delay, a distraction, something that slows down the walk we're trying to finish. But to your dog, that tiny patch of grass or that unfamiliar scent is a whole story waiting to be read. A way of understanding the world that goes far beyond what their eyes can show them. When they're rushed, something inside them pulls back, not just physically, but emotionally, because the part of the walk they look forward to most is suddenly out of reach. Sniffing isn't just curiosity for them, it's how they relax, how they process their environment, how they feel safe and connected to the world outside your home. And when that opportunity is taken away again and again, the walk becomes less of an adventure and more of a quiet, restless longing for something they can't quite name. Number 6. Not respecting their space. Individually, it looks harmless, just one more moment of affection. But for your dog, It can feel like a wave they weren't ready for. There are times when they curl up not to be cute, but to settle their thoughts, to breathe, to feel the world soften for a moment. When hands reach in or arms wrap around them without warning, that quiet dissolves, and their body tenses in ways most people never notice. They love you deeply, but even the most devoted dog needs a pocket of stillness where nothing is asked of them. And when that space is honored, something gentle happens inside them. They relax in a way that's only possible when they feel safe enough to choose closeness on their own. It's in those small, patient moments that trust quietly grows, becoming the foundation for every connection that comes after. Number 7. Reinforcing bad behavior without realizing it. So why do some of your dog's most frustrating habits seem to appear out of nowhere and never really go away? Sometimes the answer isn't in what your dog is doing, but in the tiny reactions you give without even thinking. A laugh, a glance, a sigh, a bit of attention at the wrong moment. These small responses weave together into a pattern your dog learns to rely on. They don't see these moments as bad behavior. They see them as ways to reach you, to spark a connection, to get a piece of your attention in a world where you are the center of everything. And once a behavior works, even once, it plants itself quietly, ready to bloom again the next time they want to feel you notice them. What they need isn't harsher correction or more distance, but clear, gentle guidance that helps them understand how to be part of your world without losing themselves in guesswork. All of this brings you a little closer to understanding the inner world your dog carries around every day. And even if you've missed some of these signals before, your willingness to learn already means more to them than you realized. The real takeaway is simple. Your presence shapes their sense of safety in ways nothing else can replace. Just being more aware of how they move, look, or pause around you can open a door you didn't know was there. And that door leads to an even more beautiful question. How does your dog show you that you're loved? Their signs are soft, almost hidden, but full of meaning when you finally notice them. If that makes you curious, the next video will feel like a quiet conversation you've been waiting to have.